Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Parliament has declined to investigate allegations of theft at President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala farm. DA leader John Steenhuisen had sent a request to the National Assembly Speaker, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, requesting that she establish a committee to assist in probing the matter. Now, in a letter, Mapisa-Nqakula declined, arguing that Rule 253 sets out requirements for the establishment of an ad hoc committee, and one of them is the performance of a special task. Mapisa-Nqakula further rejected the African Transformation Movement's motion seeking for the removal of the president in terms of Section 89 of the Constitution. Now, the City of Ekurhuleni is planning to integrate independent power producers to its power grid. Residents and businesses met with the city officials to discuss how the projects would be better implemented. Now, the East Rand Metro has already signed a contract with one of the IPPs to start in December. Joining us now is City of Ekurhuleni's Finance MMC, Fana Nkosi. A very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. The Germiston residents, like all South Africans, are saying that they are fed up with the electricity woes. I understand you had a meeting today. Talk to us about some of the outcomes.
Yeah. Good evening to yourself and also to the viewers. So during the week, the resident came with a petition or a memorandum about all the power outages that have been going on, with load shedding not assisting as well. So we convened a meeting with them today. In our meeting, we obviously discussed that we're in a new financial year that started, it's just 9 days old. In that meeting, we assured them that in our budget, especially on energy has been allocated the most budget in this new financial year. With all this underinvestment over the years and the collapse of our substation that over 40 years, and there's never been any other substation built over those years. So we've put in about 39% that goes directly to capital expenditure that deals with the new renewal of our assets, building of new substations. And on top of that, obviously, we cannot neglect the maintenance and repairs. We've put about almost R1 billion on repairs and maintenance. Besides that, the mayor have signed in December 46 IPPs that will be assisting from end of December this year with assisting in terms of power supply and energy supply. For the first time, I think maybe we're the only metro at this time that have signed for the first time what we call a wheeling agreement. That wheeling agreement is with one of the major investor in our city. They are planning to build in a power plant, a solar plant, which is a green green energy that will start also assisting the city in alleviating it from the reliance on Eskom. So we're planning in a way that we in the future wouldn't be having as much as the outages that we currently have, and with load shedding that's not assisting.
And of course, for you to reach this decision, I'd imagine that you've received numerous emails and complaints from residents. Talk to us about some of the grievances and how this power situation affected their day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I'll speak from experience. I've had power. I've been without power for about a week at some point. And it's understandable why will the resident be upset. You buy groceries for the whole month, it sits and there's no electricity, you have no power. Then now your food starts getting rotten, and you don't even have the budget and the means to be able to go and buy new groceries. So we've been getting those complaints. That's why we understand and we accepted their memos and their grievances. And we cannot say we are a new administration that has inherited the situation. We are here. We should be dealing with the situation and giving a plan and proper implementation plan going forward of how we're going to deal with these power outages. Because as a resident myself, you can understand that not having electricity for a whole week or 12 days for that matter, it's frustrating. So that's why we put in place we approach the IPPs We're the first metro that have actually signed up 46 IPPs. And in terms of the green power, we're the first metro that has actually gotten into with a big investor that's willing to share with us their power from that solar plant and willing that they're going to be building.
So the residents also raised complaints around paying their rates and taxes on time and their accounts being up to date and yet having to suffer in the end. How does this change the amount in terms of rates and taxes? We know that from the 1st of July, there was a 30% increase nationally. What does that now mean for the Germiston residents?
In terms of energy, we've increased our energy by 9.6%. Now, obviously, it's a balancing act, as I've said before when I presented the the budget, because we must bear in mind that we have to deal with the decade of underinvestment in terms of our infrastructure and also in terms of maintenance. It's a difficult thing for the residents to endure, and also with the power outages all the time. It also affects us as the city because we rely on the electricity that they consume for us to be charging back that electricity and getting that revenue and building on those infrastructure that are much needed for the city.
So does it mean that you're going to be charging an additional amount outside of the 30% increase that was effective from the 1st of July?
No, we're not increasing anything outside of what was affected from the 1st of July. As we budgeted, that's where we continue with what we've budgeted and what we committed at the budget speech.
So why were Germiston residents so harshly affected with the, you speak about going for a week or even sometimes 12 days without electricity. What was the problem as the assessors came to have a look?
Yeah. One major thing is that also we require from the resident as well, because this is a partnership. Most of the things that happens is that there's a lot of vandalism on our substation. People literally vandalizing our substation, call it sabotage, but most of the time is that most substations have been vandalized. You have to go there and look at the infrastructure and rebuild. And it takes time to do that. So most of the thing has been vandalization and theft.
So what were some of the major losses, would you say, in revenue for the city because of the impact of this, excessive load shedding?
Like I said, we rely on providing electricity to the resident, which electricity is a major generator of income to the city. So if with load shedding going to stage 6 and you losing almost 12 days of electricity, that means also the city is losing on the revenue that should be generating for us to be creating, to be building on those infrastructure. So we haven't really quantified how much in value, in rent value of how much we've lost. We will be seeing that probably in the first quarter when we report our quarterly reports for the first time in September. We'll be seeing what we budgeted and what have we received. Because in your budget, you don't take into account that there will be load shedding, especially you don't anticipate the stage 6 load shedding for that matter.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps very lastly, before we let you go, MMC, talk to us then about the time frames. When do you expect the system to be operational and for residents to start benefiting?
As I said in one interview, I think this week, our budget is just 9 days old. Residents must bear with us. There are quick wins, like fixing of 3 slides. Fixing of 3 slides will start happening by next week. In terms of us building infrastructure, realistically, I'm not a technical expert, but the engineers will tell you that you need to have a proper plan and start building. So by second quarter, I'm not saying things will be perfect, but by second quarter, in energy, residents will start seeing things happening.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. That was Finance MMC, the MMC for Finance there, speaking to the Germiston Power public meeting and the outcomes, as well as the contingency measures that are being put in place to ensure that the local economy does not suffer in that area.